Ladies and gentlemen, JD's and Lettleman.
JD's and Lettleman.
Dude, did you just see, he just did one where he filled his entire room with balloon animals? Did you see that one?
I did.
The dedication, bro. I respect it so much.
And it was like 50,000? My God.
Yeah. We're back.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Average Film Enjoyer. We're sorry. I don't even know what happened. I think we missed a week, and then, it's been a while. We've all been really busy. My computer was in the shop for a little bit, and I'm the one who does all the editing and releasing, and Jagger ended up helping, but his Wi-Fi is always shit, so then I had to release it. It's just been a lot. It's been a lot, and we apologize. We see that you guys loved our Escape episode. It's getting a lot of hits on YouTube, which always makes us happy. But we apologize. We've been real bad about posting.
Yeah.
But we're back today. Next IMDb movies, we're going to be discussing The Great Escape, which is basically a remake of The Bridge Over River Kwai.
I did not know that.
The plot lines are very similar.
Gotcha.
World War II POWs locked in a German camp, run by a crazy person, and they're trying to escape.
Gotcha.
I mean, you watch Bridge Over a River Kwai.
Yeah. It's the same.
Come on, guys. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about Kill Bill, maybe one of the greatest action movies ever made. Jagger, I don't know what your opinion is on it. Do you like it or do you not like it? You don't like it. That's okay. I'll change your mind.
I hope you do. But then we'll talk about Quentin Tarantino's morality decisions. Maybe I'll change your mind.
You know what, man? I'm not here to judge. Separate the art and the artist. I still love his movies. And then our Carpenter movies for the day, which we already recorded. We brought on our good friend Jay, Cinema Coconut, if you want to give him a follow. Cool dude.
Or hear him. Yes.
So that will be later in the episode.
Yes.
But before we get into anything, even like our upcoming episodes, me and Jagger have been talking.
Yes.
I think we're all aware of the political... You know where I'm going with this?
Yeah, I completely forgot about this, but alright, keep going.
We talked about it a few days ago.
That had to be like 2 weeks ago or something. I don't know.
What? No. It was not that long ago.
Okay.
Anyway, I'm sure many of you are aware of how charged the political situation is with the upcoming vote for president. And we have said in the past that on this podcast, we like to stay out of politics. We're not here to comment on that, We're here to talk about films. And even if it's a politically charged film, we try to keep the politics out of it. We just talk about it as a film, And I do admit, sometimes our personal beliefs leak into this podcast. I'm not ashamed. It just happens because me, Evan, and Jagger agree on most hot button issues.
Yeah.
There's not too much debate. We're pretty like-minded people.
Yeah.
But we feel that it has gotten to a point where we feel like we don't have that much of a platform. Man, I should have written some of this down. We don't have that much of a platform, but we do have some kind of platform because we have listeners, and so we feel it's gotten to a point to which we feel we need to say something. And that thing is, go vote, please. Things are really awful right now.
Yeah.
And if you've listened to our podcast long enough, you know the three of us are pretty left-leaning.
Yeah.
When at the end of the day, it's just us thinking that people should be able to be people without other people telling them how to be people, you know? Yeah. It's fucking bullshit. It's just awful. And
what?
Yeah. We don't care if you're Republican or Democrat. That shouldn't matter to any of us. We should all still be able to be friends. That shouldn't matter. But we shouldn't have a felon who is also a racist and a rapist. He's all the bad things. That should not be a person that is in our office. And the things that come with that person, the policies that come with that person just aren't right on just like a human rights level. So we want to encourage you, or we feel that we have to say, go vote. Please. When the time comes, go vote. Your opinion matters. This goes against a lot of what I believe. I mean, I think the voting system and how elected politicians get put into office is totally broken in our country, and the Electoral College is a rigged system. But putting that aside, go vote. Now more than ever, it is so important. I want more than ever to be invited to a White Guys for Kamala Harris meeting with Jeff Bridges. Did you see that? Dude, that was so awesome. I loved that. But now is more important than ever. If you, I have friends that are part of the LGBTQ plus community. I have friends that have gotten abortions. I like all of these hot button issues that Donald Trump is trying to take away the rights of. I have had people in my life personally affected by these things. And so go vote, it's very important. I'm going to stop talking about it because I'm rambling. But just go vote. Vote for Kamala, She's great. Tim Walz is America's dad, apparently.
And a vote for Kamala is a vote against Trump.
That is so true. You could not have said it better. And this is funny because Evan is a Canadian citizen.
Yeah.
So this doesn't matter to him. And you can't even vote. Yeah. So it's like, what are we talking about? I can vote. I can say that I will be voting for Kamala. But yeah, go vote. It's more important now than ever. Yeah. Just go vote. Open dialogue. Don't judge people on who they're voting for. Have an open dialogue. We're all people, and just because we have different opinions doesn't mean we have to hate each other.
Yeah.
Love each other. Golly. All right, well, let's move on. Movie talks of the day. Upcoming episodes. You guys want to know about upcoming episodes? Oh, God.
We're not doing Suburban Scares, right? Please.
No.
Oh, thank God. I watched one episode of it. It was absolutely unbelievable. It's really bad.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. So, next Wednesday, our Carpenter movies are going to be Christine, the Stephen King remake, which, according to John Carpenter, I can't remember what movie it was. It was another Stephen King remake. It might have been The Mist. But he was, in his review, he said, I got asked to come direct on this movie, and I said no, because that Stephen King guy is on fucking crack. So...
This is why we are okay with John Carpenter getting picked.
Yeah, dude. Bro's the GOAT. Yeah, so we're going to be watching Christine and Starman, which is actually my mom's favorite John Carpenter movie.
Really?
Yeah, she loves Starman. I'm quite excited. And then that week we will also be reviewing for our IMDb movies. Let me find where we're at here. We will be reviewing Monty Python and the Holy Grail and No Country for Old Men. So some mid and some peak.
Okay. Okay.
And then
Wait.
after,
Did you just say Holy Grail mid?
yeah,
Whoa there. Whoa there. Monty Python's fun.
all right, bud. And then the week after that, for our Carpenter movies, we will be talking about Big Trouble in Little China, starring Kurt Russell, which is a great movie that's goofy as hell. And Prince of Darkness.
I heard was one of the things that got Coralie Fargier into film. I think. Or
I don't know
someone.
who that is, but okay.
Director of The Substance. I heard
Oh,
someone
shit. Okay.
Say that. Inspired. Whatever.
And we will be reviewing that as well. And then that week, our IMDb movies are Yojimbo. Is that a Kurosawa movie?
Yes, Yojimbo. Wonderful.
Yojimbo. And then The Treasure of the Sierra Madre. I think that's what
Oh!
it's called.
Sierra Madre, yes. I've heard
Which I've never even... I don't even know anything about either of those two, so that should be interesting.
of
But yeah, that's what we got coming up. Like, follow us, subscribe. We appreciate all the support. Oh, sorry, I had to burp. Check out our merch. We got spooky season coming up. And you...
I was using the pickleball racket today, and now I don't know where I put it down. But use the pickleball racket. It's really high quality pickleball.
Yeah, afepod.com. We got all our merch there. Jagger, we are going to be setting up a sale for the month of October.
Yes, we are.
So check out in a couple episodes for the code word, or
Yes.
whatever we call it. I don't know. I don't know like what kind of sale we're going to be doing, but we're going to be doing some kind of sale. So you're going to want to check that out. So we can make a little cheddar cheese.
And our merchandise is incredibly high quality cotton fabric material something.
It actually is. It's nice. It's nice stuff.
Yeah.
And we have some dope designs. Get your spooky season merch. One more thing for spooky season. I know we've talked about doing Hooptober again this year. Yeah. We have decided we are not going to be doing an episode every day. I am going to be, not only is Jagger going to be in school, but I'm going to be in school.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't really want to feel like I want to kill myself again. So we are not going to be doing that. Evan will be doing Hooptober. He will be giving us updates every week on what he's been watching for his list. We might post his list on our Letterboxd page. So you guys can follow along with him if you want, but we will not be partaking in that. We might do a big Halloween special. Figure out something to do for that. Like separate of our weekly episodes. We might do... We're not going to have on a shit ton of guests again because that is just too hard to coordinate.
Bad. I'm such a mess.
But we might do like a draft. We might do a game. Do a couple horror reviews. Good stuff kind of like that. Because Halloween is the second best holiday of every year. So... What are you about to say? What?
We agree on what the top number one is, right?
Yeah, 4th of July. Don't tell me. Or do you have Christmas?
Yeah, I do.
Ah,
I do.
4th of July, dude. In the morning, I go stand on the street and watch a bunch of cool floats and trucks drive by while they throw candy at me. The rest of the day, I eat meat and drink soda, and then I get to blow shit up when it gets dark. What more could a guy want?
Hey, man. In New Jersey, we have laws against essentially all of that. So, I'm sorry. Not all of us have
Dude.
that luxury.
You gotta come stay the weekend with me one of these 4th of Julys. We'll go up to my aunt and uncle's house. They live in Camas, which is in Washington, which is where, like, Oregon, we have some good fireworks. They're not great. But in Washington, they have all of, like, the good illegal stuff that's, like, illegal everywhere else, but it's legal in Washington. And we go up to their house, and they live in a really rich neighborhood, and her neighbors spend, like, upwards of, like, 20 to 35 grand on fireworks every year. So we buy some of our own, but we really just watch theirs. It's like a fucking war zone, dude. It's awesome. Just shit exploding everywhere. It is so cool.
Oh, man, but I go all in for Christmas. Like, the lights, I set my room up for it. I make...
No, I remember last year.
Yeah, dude, I love Christmas. It's all vibes.
Christmas is goated. But, dude, 4th of July, man. It's just the best. I drink, since I can't drink now, I get Athletic Brewing. It's non-alcoholic beer. So I can still feel like I'm having a beer, but I'm not getting wasted, you know?
On that note, follow Cinema Snacks on TikTok.
Yes.
Every Friday, I'm making food and mocktail in some way associated.
Hell yeah, dude. I love mocktails.
Yeah, dude, they're awesome. And
Also,
yeah.
oh, go ahead.
Oh, last Friday we did one for Oppenheimer. This Friday we're doing one for American Psycho. It's gonna be great. We're doing them.
Hell yeah. Who do you do it with?
I do it myself. It's fun.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Weekly shout out to the Film Scoop boys. I know Jagger doesn't listen to them. You should, Jagger. They're really funny.
I don't listen to any podcasts. Am I gonna be? We're gonna.
I really only listen to ours.
Cocky, but it's true. That's the only one I listen to ever. But like,
yeah. Shout out Film Scoop boys, the goats. I want to shout out because I've been watching, Anthony Talks Movies, his TikTok. Is he in the Movie Talk, like, creator Discord?
I think he's in the Real Cinephile Discord, but I don't think he's.
Oh, okay. Well, I want to shout him out this week. We've never talked, but his content has been popping up a lot for me this week, and I really like his stuff. So shout out, go follow Anthony Talks Movies on TikTok. He has some good stuff. And follow Jay, dude. Jay's stuff is fucking hilarious. His Substance video had me dying.
Same with his Snapchat one. That one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But before we get into movie news, watch lists, things like that, Jagger, my friend, how are you doing? How's school been? All that good stuff.
I'm doing great. I'm thriving in the film class. Things are on the up and up. Sophomores and juniors got a hold of some of my short films. And apparently that started some chatter. Good chatter, though. So that was cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm doing great. Watching some good movies, watching some questionable movies, watching some movies that make me question the morals of society. How are you doing, Joe?
I'm not too bad, I finished, like, my first, like, term, I guess, of school, my first, like, set of classes.
Very nice.
So that was real nice. Yeah, I don't know. I've been sick these past couple days. Had, like, some weird GI bug going on. So that wasn't very fun. But, it's whatever. But yeah, I've been doing good. I'm chilling, man. Just chilling. You want to get into watch list?
Yeah. Let's get a watch list.
You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
Are we alternating, or are we doing the full
Thing?
Okay. So I'll start if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Tenacious D and the Pick of Destiny, 5 stars.
Hell
Anyone
yeah.
on this movie, you're not a friend. Not a friend. Alien Romulus, dude. This movie's gas. It is the best movie in the Alien franchise that I've seen. 4.5. Absolutely loved it. The Boy Who Could Fly. Shocker what this one's about. It's about a boy who has the capability of flying. 3 stars. Billy Madison, 4.5. Love Billy Madison. Adam Sandler's in Jersey, filming Happy Gilmore 2.
Hell yeah.
He's been all over the place. Apparently, he came to a rumor's going around that he came to a football game at our high school. I don't know. I wasn't there, but if he was, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Android Music Videos Volume 1. Dude, this stuff's on YouTube. Have you ever seen that YouTube video where it's like the I feel fantastic thing? And it's the Android thing in the wig and the sweater singing I feel fantastic?
No, I haven't seen that.
Dude, it's freaky. But big fan. Didn't know it was on Letterboxd. It's from 2004. Really cool stuff. Astrucken. I still plan on getting you to watch this film at some point or another.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. 5 stars. I think it is absolutely fantastic. I think it's one of the most underrated films of all time. Then I saw the TV Glow. I had 2 off periods in class, so I just pulled my phone out and watched I Saw the TV Glow. And then we had a pep rally, so I got.
Hell yeah. I might watch that tonight.
Oh my god, it is a wonderful film.
Hey, okay, so my parents were thinking about watching it. My dad's into more experimental stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom is not really. What would you like on levels of just parents enjoying movies? What would you say?
I mean, this movie is not particularly experimental. It has things that seem like if you don't know what's going on until mid-movie, some things at the beginning you have to know other things in order to know. I know your parents a little bit, not that much though. I think they'll get it. I don't think they'll have any issue. It's not very experimental. It's just you need to know the colors on the transgender flag in order to get the first 10 minutes of the movie. And that's it.
Okay.
That's the only part of it that people wouldn't really understand. That's about it.
Sure. Okay.
Great. Really, really great. Next movie, Great Expectations, Alfonso Cuarón. 3 stars. It's nothing fantastic. It is what it is. It's not just You Murray, 1964. It's a Scorsese short, 3 stars. I mean, it's 15 minutes long. It's sort of Then this really underrated movie called Slash. It came out this year.
Yes!
Watch list this one on Letterboxd. It comes out on Halloween on the OJ Productions YouTube channel. Please, I beg.
Like the final product?
Yeah.
Is it going to be any longer?
No, what you saw is essentially the final product. If I change anything, it's just going to be color correction and stuff.
Okay.
Next, Carrots and Peas by Hollis Frampton. This is a chant backwards or a television program backwards with shots of carrots and peas. Talk about experimental. It means nothing. 3.5. It's Hollis Frampton doing his thing. Life During Wartime. This is the kickoff of the Todd Solondz filmography run through. And
I thought you were talking about the Talking Heads song.
No. This is about a group of people who have quirks and interests involving younger people.
Cool.
That and how their lives are affected after 9/11. I found out recently that it is the follow-up film to Todd Solondz's film Happiness, which I stumbled across one clip of. The YouTube clip was titled "Frustrated Pedophile Shoots Up Public Park."
What the fuck?
and this is the follow-up movie to that. This movie has Paul Rubens playing a predator. That's Pee Wee Herman. So yeah, man, this movie is something else. But it is a fantastic film. 4.5. Very, very disturbed subject matter. Can be very scary at times. Not suggesting it, also not suggesting it. Do with that what you will. Henry, Portrait of a Serial Killer is the real story of serial killer Henry Lee Lucas. This movie's weird. It's incredibly disturbing, and it's a couple of things that are incredibly questionable. Trigger warnings, please look them up before you watch this movie, as I'll have to say with a bunch of movies down this watch list. But yeah, a really great film, a 4.5. No smoking in this theater. I watched it on YouTube early that day, just because, I don't know, it's John Waters. It's funny. Then Feelings, 1984. This is Todd Solondz doing his thing. At this point, I knew I was just going to go through his whole filmography, so I started banging out his shorts. Next, I watched No Smoking in the Theater again. I watched that movie entirely as a coincidence on YouTube because I saw someone log it on Letterboxd, and then I went to see Cinema Paradiso in the theater, and they played it before, which was a big coincidence. I'm pretty. Then Cinema Paradiso in 1988. Fantastic film. I watched it on the Wesleyan campus film studies center. Absolutely unbelievable. 5 stars, 99 out of 100, I believe I gave it. It's not quite 100 out of 100 for me yet, but it is an undeniably masterful piece of film. Then yeah. Dark Horse. Dark Horse is about a slightly heavy man that collects toys and his want to fall in love. This is Todd Solondz. It is based off of the Costanza belt. In fact, whenever they wanted to have shots of what's his name? Christopher Walken and Mia Farrow, who are the two parents in this film, sitting watching the TV screen, they got the whole cast of the Costanza family to do audio dialogue for the TV screen.
Hell yeah!
It's a incredibly funny film. It's one of the funniest of Solondz's filmography. Then we have Shat's Last Shot, which is about Todd playing like a kid named, I can't remember his first name. It's some nerdy name, and then it's this kid that is playing basketball, but he has a vulgar gym teacher who's screaming and cursing at him, and then he wants to impress a girl, so he has to play it again. Shat's Last Shot. Namesake. Babysitter is another Todd Solondz film. This is Todd really starting to find his element. It's about a babysitter who's in a weird sort of relationship with the kid he's babysitting. It's Todd doing his thing again. 3.5 though. Oh, Shat's Last Shot I give it 4.5. Dark Horse I give it 4. I forgot. Babysitter 3.5 is pretty funny. Welcome to the Dollhouse. 5 stars. Absolutely unbelievable. I love this film with my whole heart. Then I watched The Substance. I gave it a 4.5. My father gave it a 5. I'm going to save this talk until Evan comes back. Fear, Anxiety, and Depression is about a playwright in New York who's trying to
Wait. Sorry, I missed that last part. What'd you say your dad gave a 5?
The Substance.
Oh, shit. Okay. I thought you said he gave Welcome to the Dollhouse a 5, and I was like, oh, damn.
No, he gave The Substance a 5.
Okay, gotcha.
He gave a 5 was Seven Samurai, and hasn't given a movie a 5 for a while since before that. But he said that this movie was so good it made him want to stop making horror. Oh my god, it made him want to stop making horror movies. He said it was that good, and he called it a motion picture to drive home. So that's how you know he liked it. Fear, Anxiety, and Depression is about a playwright in New York trying to find his space, played by Todd Solondz. Stanley Tucci, a really young Stanley Tucci, makes an appearance in this film.
Hell yeah. We love the Tooch. Dude, he's great.
It's 85 minutes long. It's really funny. I think it's well worth checking out. It's one of the more tolerable Solondz films as far as disturbing and stuff goes. It's just sort of funny. I gave it a 3.5. Then I watched Jerry Seinfeld, 23 Hours to Kill. It's an hour-long Jerry Seinfeld special. It's funny. I love Jerry Seinfeld. Then Jerry Before Seinfeld. Might as well. It's just another Seinfeld special. Pier Paolo Pasolini, Agnes Barda, New York, 1967, 4.5. It's just like a 4-minute thing, just shooting shots of random people walking around in New York. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just what New York looked like in the late 60s with a monologue of Pier Paolo Pasolini talking about film. Really interesting stuff. The Death of David Cronenberg is just a really, really trippy minute-long short film. I was bored in class and pulled my phone out because we had free time and I watched that. It was great. Then a rewatch of Cecil B. Demented. Cecil B. Demented, I have at a 99 out of 100. I still think it is, in my opinion, one of the greatest films about making films, especially indie films, underground films. Really fantastic film. Storytelling. Storytelling is an incredibly questionable film. The first story is about a girl who has a run-in with her teacher in a bar. Some things go down, and then she has to tell a really questionable story to her class about it.
Okay.
Oh. Average film enjoyer pickleball set.
Yo! It's the boy Roman.
Hi.
Roman, how you doing, my guy?
Good.
Good? Hey, I saw you in Jagger's short film. You did a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, bye.
Bye, Roman.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Roman. Follow
Yeah.
him on Letterboxd.
On Letterboxd. Roman Pot Pie.
Hell yeah, dude.
And then the second story is about Paul Giamatti making a documentary film about high school kids. What is
Hell
it?
yeah.
It's piecing together in my head that every single one of these movies has something to do with an adult having a relationship with a child.
Yes.
Someone should investigate.
Todd
Someone
Salons? Yes.
Then I watched Puss in Boots: The Last Wish, which I gave a 3.5, and I'm not going to talk about it anymore because I've gotten a lot of slack for it today. But it's pretty great. Pretty good. That's where I'll leave it. Presto Changeo. It's the short TV thing they play in Stanmore on TV. I don't know. Came across it on YouTube, decided to give it a watch. No rating. Whatever. It's from 1939. And then Dune Part 2. 5 stars. 100 out of 100. Greatest sci-fi film of our generation.
Hell yeah, dude.
All right.
Dude, I love it when we agree on mainstream media. Because it's very rare.
It is becoming increasingly rare. Yeah. Dune Part 2. Fantastic. So Trey, your watch list.
You bet. Are you ready for a whole lot of peak? Because again, haven't been doing that great mentally, so been doing a lot of rewatches of Peak. San Andreas. Jagger, wake up, brother. This movie is sick. Who do we call? Call everybody. It's just fucking dope. Disaster movies. You gotta love them. Then I rewatched Signs. Still Peak. What did you have this at, Jagger?
3.
A 3.5?
3.
Okay, yeah. The Iron Claw, I watched for the first time. Have you seen this, Jagger?
I've seen it twice. I have it on Blu-ray.
All right, let me tell you. I watched this 2 days before my grandfather's funeral.
God.
And that may seem like a crazy thing. I've always had a hard time processing emotions personally. I like to stuff things and I don't like to talk about it, but I have found that movies help me process things, which is why when I'm feeling sad sometimes I'll watch a really sad movie and it helps me like get through it.
Yeah.
It's weird, but it's just something that works for me, you know?
Whatever works.
So I was like, I want to watch something I haven't seen. Okay, I've heard this is really sad. I'm going to watch The Iron Claw. Holy fuck, dude. I cried for so long after finishing it. The final, 30 minutes just fucking destroyed me. I was not expecting it to hit that hard, but the scene, spoilers for The Iron Claw. If you haven't seen it, what are you doing?
Going into it.
What?
Did you know this story?
No, I was told to go in blind.
Okay. Yeah.
So, the shit that got me was the final scene where he's watching his kids play, and he's like crying. First of all, what got me is the toxic masculinity shit that his sons correct him on, where he's like, they're like, why are you crying, Dad? And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, boys. You shouldn't see your father like this. A man should never cry. And they go, it's okay. We cry. You can cry too. And I was like, oh, fuck me. Fuck me. And then they were like, so why are you crying? And he's like, well, and they're talking about being brothers. And he's like, well, I used to be a brother. Not anymore, though. And I was like, God, it can't get any worse. And then it got worse. They go, well, don't worry, Dad. We'll be your brothers. And I was like, dude, that shit is so sad. And that final song that's playing, I can't remember what it's called, but it was like made for the movie.
Yeah.
What?
Live That Way Forever.
Yeah, dude. Fucking banger. Oh my God. I've listened to that like on loop since I've watched that movie. Yeah, incredible film. Zac Efron deserves some kind of award for his performance.
Yeah, that time passed. He already didn't get one.
Yeah, it's dumb. Next up I watched Hell House LLC 2, The Abaddon Hotel. Pretty solid sequel. We got a new Hell House coming out soon, so quite excited for that. Let's see. Rewatched Insidious, which I know Jagger doesn't like. I love it. I think it's a fucking blast. Patrick Wilson is my Pookie. I love him so much. And then I watched 2018 Halloween. This movie rips. It's one of the better Halloween movies. And if you don't think that, you're on something. This movie goes so hard. Amazing Spider-Man 2, 5 stars. The best Spider-Man movie. I will die on that hill gladly. Yep, come on, Jagger, let's hear it.
Come on, man.
It's the best Spider-Man movie. Andrew Garfield, without a doubt, is the best Spider-Man. Can we agree on that?
Like, the Spider-Man or
The Spider-Man.
Isolated Spider-Man, not Peter Parker.
Yeah.
Okay, then I will agree with you.
Okay. This movie, I don't know when the last time you watched this was. Incredible visuals.
That's fair.
Incredible visuals. Hans Zimmer did the score for this movie. Incredible score. Incredible story. Sure, there's some plot holes. Maybe one too many villains.
You're seriously trying to tell me that
But-
believe that this is better than the first two Tobey Maguire Spider-Man?
Oh, yeah. I also hate the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. I have the second one. I have Spider-Man 2 at like a 2-star.
I
think it's awful.
That isn't that I completely forgot.
Here's how my Spider-Man rankings go. You ready for this?
If I hear any of the Tom Holland ones above the Tobey Maguire ones, I'm done.
Oh man, then you're going to hate this. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Amazing Spider-Man 1. Spider-Man Homecoming. Spider-Man Far From Home. And then Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire. And then Spider-Man No Way Home. And then way down here is Spider-Man 2. And then way down here, so far off the list, is Spider-Man 3.
What do you have Spider-Man 3 at?
I think I have it at a 1/2 star. I think that movie is terrible. That is that is the worst superhero movie, hands down.
I would say that politely goes to No Way Home, but then again, you like Incoming, so who knows?
Incoming? What's Incoming?
Exactly. It's that
You mean Spider-Man Homecoming?
No, Incoming. That stupid Netflix Superbad ripoff. with the fake TikTok UI that doesn't show.
What does that have anything to do with our conversation right now?
It just shows if you like incoming, then nothing else matters. That's what.
That's insane. That's how you know you're wrong, is you have to bring in a completely different movie opinion to validate your argument. You're wrong, Jagger.
Everyone already thinks you're insane that you have No Way Home above Spider-Man 2. Everyone else agrees with me.
That is not true.
You.
I disagree. But that's fine. This is why we need Evan here, because we get like this. Evan's our moderator. This is like pre-Evan average film enjoyer. Me and Jagger just screaming at each other.
And Jurassic is better than all of them. That's what.
Moving on. The Thing, we're talking about later. I rewatched The Amazing Spider-Man. Still 5 stars. They Live, we're talking about later. Kill Bill, we'll talk about later. I watched Paul Blart Mall Cop for the first time. Let me preface this by saying I'm a massive fan of Kevin James. I think he is fucking hilarious. And sure, he's Walmart Jack Black, but I love him just the same. 4 stars for Paul Blart Mall Cop. That shit was so funny.
That just by calling him Walmart Jack Black. That makes all of it okay.
And then I watched Greenland with Gerard Butler and Morena Baccarin. End of the world type movie, dope as fuck. Another great disaster movie.
Okay.
You would probably hate it, Jagger.
Noted.
And then I watched As Above, So Below with some friends from school. This movie still rips. Jagger, you need to watch this. It's dope.
Directed by Mark Dowdle.
Yeah. Just trust, man. I watched Slash, Jagger's new film. Quite good. I'm excited to see it go viral.
Yeah.
And then I rewatched... Jagger asked me to rewatch this. I rewatched the Poughkeepsie tapes. 4.5 stars. I don't know what y'all are on. This shit unsettles me. It makes me feel so uncomfortable in my own skin.
Can we talk about it for a minute?
Yeah, sure.
Please explain to me how it's unsettling when that killer gives the worst performance in the history of performances.
How is it bad?
How is it bad? Dude, he plays up everything. It's the most overacted performance I've ever seen. Pop it!
I think
Pop it!
that's the point, dude. He's a fucking psychopath.
No, but he doesn't play it well. He's not scary.
I disagree. I think he's very scary.
And that balloon thing is the dumbest scene in the history of cinema.
Yeah, it's dumb. But there's other stuff in that movie that really works at making me freaked out.
Like, the girl getting hit off screen and then them throwing a dummy into the car.
Here's the part that freaks me out.
Okay.
It's the final scene where they're interviewing whatever her name is. And then
Yeah.
And then they're like 2 days later, she killed herself. You know? It is so obvious that she has been, because she was in his capture for like 10 years. She has been so thoroughly trained that when she's asking, what do you want me to say? I don't know what you want me to say. It's not that she's at a loss for words. It's literally, she doesn't know anymore how to think on her own.
Yeah.
And, like, it's just so unsettling. And then the fact that, like, in the suicide note, she said that, like, he's one day, that she still loves him and, like, all this stuff. It's just, like, that. It's just, I'm just like, ugh. You know?
But that one scene can't make up for a whole movie of flaming garbage.
I don't know, man. Again, it goes back to the idea that It's whatever scares you, you know? And that scares me.
Fair enough.
Next up, Conjuring 2. It's better than the first one. I will stand by that. This movie rips. Super creepy. I watched Tremors for the first time. Jagger, I don't know if you've seen this with Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, I have it on DVD. I haven't seen it though.
Oh, it's great. You would love this movie. It's goofy as hell.
It's like giant, like worm things under the ground, right?
Yep. Yeah. And then I watched Trainwreck with Amy Schumer. Let me set the record straight. I hate Amy Schumer with a burning passion. I don't think she's funny. I think she's a piece of shit for stealing jokes. And not like ideas. She's literally stolen word for word jokes from people.
Yeah.
But there's enough Bill Hader and John Cena in this movie to make it enjoyable. And there's enough funny stuff that doesn't come from her in this movie to make it enjoyable. So I would recommend it. Next up, Brothers with Tobey Maguire and Jake Gyllenhaal. Excellent. It was what?
They do look really similar now thinking about it.
Yeah. This was great. It's really hard to watch and really unsettling, but it's really great, and I would highly recommend it. Next up, I watched Dolomite Is My Name, a biopic about Rudy Ray Moore, with Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes, Da'Vine Joy Randolph, Keegan-Michael Key, Mike Epps, Craig Robinson, Titus Burgess, Cody Smith McPhee, Snoop Dogg, T.I., Chris Rock. Just a stacked cast. It was pretty good. It was fun. It was light. It was easy. You know, nothing crazy. Pretty biopic-y, but I enjoyed it. And then I watched... hold on. Sorry, my mom texted me. Patch Adams with Robin Williams. It's pretty cheesy, pretty corny, pretty predictable, but it made me feel good. And that's the obvious point of this movie. So, yeah.
Was this one sad? I thought it was.
It had some sad moments, but it's pretty happy, most of it.
Gotcha.
It's the classic Robin Williams movie. A authority figure is trying to stop Robin Williams because he's being too funny.
Oh my god, that is every single Robin Williams movie. Yeah.
Exactly. Princess and the Frog. This might be one of the best Disney princess movies. Score goes so hard. The soundtrack goes so hard in this movie. What'd you say?
Wouldn't fight you on it for a second.
No, yeah, it's great. It's great. And then I watched Sinister 2. Because it has James Ransone in it. And I love him. He played older Eddie in It Chapter 2. And he's just really funny. He has a good, like, on-screen presence. He's very funny.
It is new.
That was
a sequel to Sinister.
Yeah, it was okay. 2.5. And then I watched Child's Play 2. I had only seen the first one. 4 stars. Great. Child's Play 3. Still. That one was... Yeah, actually, no. That's a 4-star, I think. Great. And then Bride of Chucky. 4 stars. It was great. And then Seed of Chucky. This is where they start getting really meta. 4 stars. It was fucking hilarious. And then Curse of Chucky. 3 stars. It was only kind of okay. Not great. And then I watched rewatched Insidious Chapter 2. Bangs. Insidious Chapter 3. Pretty good. You got Dermot Mulroney in it, and Lee Winnell, and Lin Shaye. So, not awful. And then I watched Cult of Chucky with Evan, 3.5, shit fucking bangs, Child's Play franchise, damn good. Might be more consistent than Scream. And I'm not saying it's a better franchise, I'm just saying it's more consistent.
Yes, Scream is not the most consistent franchise out there.
Yeah. Watch it. We'll talk about The Great Escape. I watched Rebel Ridge, a 2024 release. Would highly recommend. Great slow burn action thriller. Aaron Pierre is great in it. And then I watched Civil War. Finally got around to that one. I love me some Alex Garland. This was great. I had a really good time with it. Yeah, very, very good. Kaylee Spaney was great. Yeah, that's all I got on the watch list, on the old watch list. All right. So now we're gonna do our John Carpenter movies first. I'm gonna edit it in. We had Jay on, had a great conversation. So you guys can go enjoy that now. Hello, everybody. We are here today. I shouldn't really introduce the pod because I'm going to put this in the middle of the episode again. We're recording this before we record the whole rest of the episode. But we are joined today by one of me and Jagger's good friends, Jay. He is a fellow, well, I guess I'm not a film talker anymore, but fellow film talker with whatever. You know, we all know each other because of that small community, which I think is interesting. I feel like there's like the big community of film talkers where like it's like Sammy, Seth, Cam, Tyler, George, all those guys, like Soups. And then there's like the smaller film, which is like us. The one who has the most followers is like either like Jeremiah or Dan, you know.
Hey man, Chuck's
It's like-
climbing the ladder. Chuck is climbing the ladder.
Really? How many followers is he at?
He's at like
Oh, yeah.
200,000 now, right?
He's at one. I think so. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Last time I checked, it was 150K.
Yeah.
Damn. Yeah. But I just feel like there's like, it's like two communities where all those guys know each other and then we all know each other. And it's fun. But he has joined us today to talk about, we're going to be talking about our Carpenter movies for this week. They Live and The Thing, two of debatably the two best John Carpenter movies. I think they're probably my highest rated. I don't know. After watching Assault on Precinct 13, that might be up there. But they are my two highest rated. But yeah, we're here to talk about those today. But before we get into it, Jay, why don't you tell the people where they can find you, like your accounts and stuff like that, and then your like whatever top four you want to give us.
Awesome. Yeah, well, first of all, thanks for having me, guys. You can find me at Cinema Coconut on TikTok. That's really like my main account that I use for everything. I don't really branch too far off of there. Otherwise, I'm on Letterboxd at J_Koala, just the letter J. And yeah, I use that pretty consistently. I actually want to do like a revamping of my page because I don't utilize like the list feature ever. And I know a lot of people have some awesome lists. So I think I may start that up after this pod, actually do like a 2024 ranking so far. Yeah, I want to say that the name of the podcast is perfect. The Average Film Enjoyer, because that's exactly where I place myself as well. So props to you for that awesome name. I like to talk about film like just kind of on like a novice, broad level, because I think everybody can appreciate film no matter like how strong or weak your film knowledge is. There's a film out there for everybody, even the people who say that they hate movies and never watch movies. There's a film out there for those people too. They just haven't found them yet, you know?
Yeah.
So yeah, I will go off of my top 4 on Letterboxd. I created this account, I think 2 or 3 years ago, and I haven't changed my top 4 since I've created this account, just because like it saddens me starting to move them out of there. But
Yeah.
my first one on there, I guess this is in no particular order either, but I have Guillermo del Toro's Pan's Labyrinth. Not sure if you guys have seen that one, but that was my introduction to Guillermo, and it still holds up so well today. Have you seen that one, Trey?
I haven't. I've seen a few Guillermo movies. I'll be honest, not the biggest fan.
Sure.
But I like it's. I think Pan's Labyrinth is on the IMDb top 250, so I'm gonna watch it at some point. You know, and he
Yeah.
has a few others that are like essentials. You know, that I'm gonna watch. It's just like it's hard to get
Right.
around to it because I'm not a huge fan of his style. But I've heard great
Fair
things.
enough.
I know my mom
Yeah.
really loves Pan's Labyrinth.
And that is funny you say that because, yeah, there aren't too many movies from him that I would really hold to like that regard. Like Pan's Labyrinth is kind of on an island of its own, like in my opinion,
Yeah.
out of his filmography. So, yeah, that's a great one though. I'll watch that like every year and never get sick of it. Another one I have on here, nice comedy. You've probably heard of it, The Big Lebowski, Coen Brothers.
Of course.
That one
Hell
is
yeah.
just so much fun. It's so stupid at moments, but those characters, I mean, just all of it, really. The Coen Brothers really nail like every genre that they've tackled, like when they do work together. And yeah, The Big Lebowski just kills me every time I want. Like, I know the timing of all the jokes, and I still laugh at them. I just love the dude as a character, so that's up there. Another Coen Brothers one I have is No Country for Old Men. That's in my top 4. So, have you guys seen that one yet?
You've managed to nail every movie that's popular that I'm ashamed I haven't seen. So
Hey, that's all right. You
Wait,
can
you
name
haven't seen The
100.
Big Lebowski, Jack?
no, I haven't.
Oh, come
Man.
on, dude. No, I've seen, but Coen Brothers are in my top 3 favorite directors. I've
Nice.
seen most of their filmography, and all of them are like 4.5s or 5s. I've yet to
Yeah.
see Hail Caesar, and I've heard that one is not great, so I'm holding off on it. But No Country for Old Men is the movie that I attribute to getting me into film. It's like the first one I
Nice.
watched where I was like, oh, damn, I guess this is my new thing. God, I love that movie so much. It's immaculate.
Definitely. And that's funny you say that attributed to you like getting into film, because that's kind of what all 4 of these movies have done for me, which is another reason why I'm hesitant to move them out, because it's like I take myself back to like when I first watched them and that feeling it brought me, and just that like, you know, you can't even describe it, but you guys have felt it too, you know.
Yeah,
And so
for sure.
my last one on the list that I have is Little Miss Sunshine. And
Yeah.
that is another great genre blend. Jager, have you seen that one?
I have seen that one. Yes.
Okay.
Yes, thank goodness.
We got one. Yeah, that one hits close to home, you know, with the family dynamics and like struggling through it all and the lengths that family will go for each other, and just like the individualized characters and their own personal issues that they have and how it relates to the family as a whole. It's just a beautiful movie through and through. So yeah, those are my top 4 on my Letterboxd. Like I said, I don't know if they'll be moving anytime soon, but you never know.
Yeah. And can I say, Greg Kinnear in that movie might be one of the most hateable characters of all time. As someone who has gone through mental health struggles, I'm sure others who have gone through mental health struggles can relate to this. He's the most ignorant piece of shit ever. That whole movie, I was like, oh
Yep.
my God, I just want to jump through the screen and slap him in the face. I was just like, ah.
But the rest of the family, they all balance each other out
Oh my gosh, yeah. Some great characters.
with
Alan
all of their
Arkin, man.
dysfunctionality.
Alan Arkin.
Mhm.
R.I.P. He is so good. But yeah, that's awesome.
Seriously.
What do you guys want to talk about the first? The Thing or They Live?
Either or.
Should we?
I feel like
should
there's
we
going to
do
be
The
more
Thing?
conversation from The Thing, so we should do The Thing second. Let's just kick it off with They Live.
Okay, sure.
So, for those who don't know, They Live, I can't remember what year this was. It's sometime, 88. I was right. You got Rowdy Roddy Piper. Keith David is great in this. That's about it for recognizable actors. Let me kick it. I'm going to kick it to Jay first since he's our guest. Jay, why don't you give us your opening thoughts? We all kind of go around, give our opening thoughts, and then we go from there for conversation. But what are you like your like?
Okay.
When I say They Live, what are your thoughts?
It's one of those movies that is like misinterpreted a lot, and it's funny, like the evolution of it. I think a lot of Carpenter's movies, when they were first released, were not received well by the general public, but then of course accumulated this like cult status over time, and They Live is definitely one of those. That's when a bit of Carpenter's like kookiness was showing through his film, because I believe The Thing was first 82, and when was They Live? 88.
88.
So 6 years later. Yeah. I love it though. I love the campiness of it. I love the premise. I love how it's still discussed today, and how those like ideologies kind of evolved over time with not only how we view it, but like the political stance of this country, and like how I don't know. It's just it's a wild ride for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Jagger, what about you? Opening thoughts.
Yeah, I think you really hit the nail on the head. I mean, yeah, this movie is fun. It is campy. It is very, very stupid at times, but at other times it has a lot to say. It does. Obviously political relevance, this movie still does reign incredibly true, and I respect it for that. I think that there are some parts of this movie that are almost borderline too ridiculous. I have one scene in mind. We'll get into it.
I know what you're talking about.
I think I already know too.
God, Jagger. It's the best scene in the movie.
But also, The Substance just came out, and there's a little bit of this movie in that, too. Like, this movie has been a very influential film on the sci-fi genre and horror genre since. I mean, I don't know. This movie is a lot of fun. I love it. I have it at a 4-star, with a very high 4-star. On rewatch, could be a 4.5. Great movie.
Yeah.
But fun movie. There we go.
Yeah. For me personally, I think this is one of John Carpenter's best. I've always been different from, so me and Jagger talked about this the other day. Jagger leans very heavily into analyzing films, and that's how he enjoys taking in movies and stuff, like being critical, analyzing, but like I've always been a guy like where my number one rating of how I rate a movie is like how much fun I had or how entertained I was, and then everything else comes second, So like our film opinions rarely match up because like I'm just here to have a good time, and the way Jagger has a good time looks very different from me. I love this movie. I have it at a 5. I think it's an absolute. There's some classic lines in this movie, like, man, life's a bitch and she's back in heat is just like classic. And I think what's really interesting, and this is going to be a weird comparison, but bear with me. I feel similarly to this movie that I feel about The Simpsons, because Howard Stern once said that a smart person and a dumb person can watch The Simpsons and laugh at the same exact time for 2 completely different reasons. And I think that's what makes this film really interesting, is because, sure, on the surface, and if you're not looking for anything deeper, it's fun, it's campy, it's goofy, it's badass, practical effects are great, you know. But then if you want to go deeper, look for that other level. Like you guys have already said, it's very politically relevant still today, about messages about mainstream media and things like that. And I think that's why I like it so much, is because it balances those 2 levels so well. And there's just the amount of stuff that Jagger likes, and there's just the amount of stuff that I like, where it's like a perfect combo that both types of film enjoyers can like. And I think that's why I like it so much. But Jagger, I want to guess. I think I know the scene you were talking about. Is it the WWE fight between Roddy Piper and Keith David in the alley that goes on for like 8 minutes?
Yes, it is. Yes.
God, that's like
Yep,
the best scene in the movie, dude.
It's I'm with Jagger here. I'm sorry. The first time I watched it, I kind of already knew the tone it was trying to set, and I was like, okay, I'm taking this like half seriously, but it's fun. They're trying to say some messages, and I'm listening to them. And then that happens, and I'm like, is this the same movie? What? It just goes on for like a couple minutes too long.
It goes on for like 7 minutes too long.
I love it though.
It's like a Bellatar length shot.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I love it.
I heard something
I think
funny about that.
I think that it is, the longer it goes, the funnier it gets. Like, you're like, okay, it's got to end, and then you're like, yeah, they're back at it.
The sound effects and all.
Yeah, and no music whatsoever. That whole scene is just, it's so dumb. And I mean, I think we talked about this because, Jay, I just started film school, and I just finished my first set of classes.
Nice.
And we talked about this in one of our classes where I said it's like film and art is so much more enjoyable when the director or whoever puts like a little piece of themselves in the movie. And I feel like this is John Carpenter not making it for like us, but making it for himself. Like, I can see him in my head watching this movie at home and just cackling that entire time. Just like, these idiots actually like this, you know, and that just makes me so happy. But it's like Quentin Tarantino says. Quentin Tarantino, he's like, I don't make movies for you. I make movies for me. And like, those are the best kinds of movies. So I think that's why I love that scene so much, because it's so obviously self-indulgent. And I love it so much.
Fair. I can respect it.
But Jagger, what would you say your favorite scene is?
What would I say my favorite scene is? There's a scene at like a newspaper stand where he like puts on the glasses and looks over, and it's just the people standing there. I love that. And also any of the moments where it just cuts to that like flashing screen of the words. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I love that so much. But
Yeah.
don't know. I just think that there's a lot of not necessarily gimmicks, but repeating factors of this movie that are incredibly interesting to me. Um, I don't know. It's hard to think about a scene. I haven't seen this movie in a minute. I do remember it pretty well, but there are just a lot of things about the plot of this movie and the things that this movie tries to achieve and does achieve that I really respect and I really enjoy.
Hell yeah. Um, I want to point out one more scene before we move on. The scene in the grocery store where he's still trying to figure out what's happening, and he's talking to the lady who's actually the alien, and he's like, her? She's okay. You are fucking ugly. That whole exchange is just so priceless. I feel like Roddy Piper, and he's in the conversation of WWE wrestlers turned actors. You got Roddy Piper, John Cena, Dwayne Johnson, Dave Bautista is obviously the best, most talented. But it's just like it's just so goofy, and yeah, I mean, I feel like I'm sounding like a broken record here, probably because I am. But yeah, I just like it's that whole sequence of him in the grocery store is just it's classic. It's so funny. But would you guys like to talk about The Thing?
Sure.
Well, if you do, you guys have anything else you want to say about this one?
Yeah, I got a couple things. Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
I've had it.
I'm sorry to go back to the fight scene. To go back to the fight
No.
scene, but funny thing about that, I actually just heard about this recently. Was I guess in the script when he wrote it out, when it came to that fight scene, there was just a blank page and it just said fight. And that was like just up for them to do whatever they want. They didn't choreograph it or anything. It just said fight. And then the next page, it said the fight continues. And then the next page, it said the fight continues because he was trying to do the timing right. So, and I just love that. And also, I guess they did kind of like rehearse the fight scene. They did it in John Carpenter's like backyard. So they were just like trying to choreograph something, but we got the end result in the movie. So it's like, how much work did they really put into this? You know?
That's really funny. Yeah, that's hilarious. You got anything last things, Jagger?
Nothing.
No? All right. Debatably, what most people think is John Carpenter's best movie, The Thing. The Kurt Russell, Keith David, oh God, who else? God, I'm so bad with names. Fucking hell. And oh yeah, Wilford Brimley's in this. TK Carter, great cast. This is, I mean, it's the greatest remake of all time. Not many people know this is a remake, but there's like a movie from '51 called The Thing from Another World, and it's the exact same movie. But
No, I think in the
yeah.
Thing from Another World, there's a scene where it's in the ice and they all stand around it holding hands, and then it like unmelts from the ice. Is that movie? Am I thinking of something
I don't
else?
know. I've never seen The Thing from Another World.
I haven't
I
seen
just
it
watched The Thing. So
Yeah, man. If
but-
I'm thinking of the right movie, that movie's insane.
I may need to look into that.
Yeah.
Another World.
This is debatably his best film. Jagger, I'll kick it to you first. The Thing. Opening thoughts.
I mean, the movie's amazing. What can I say? The score, unbelievable. Cinematography, fantastic. The idea, great. Even though it's a remake, I don't know. something about this movie and the way that it plays out and the way that the actors played it out. It's just amazing. It's very well directed. The practical effects, obviously, fantastic. I mean, there's nothing that you can say about this movie that hasn't been said before. It's just an incredible film. I have this at 5 stars. I have it on Blu-ray. I love it. But yeah, it's a really hard movie to dislike. Like, it's just a great film. So yeah, Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with you. Yeah, like you said, so much has already been said about this movie for good reason. I mean, there's a reason that we're still talking about it today. I mean, it's hard to like transport yourself back to this time. I don't know how well this movie was received. I'm guessing at least like with Kurt Russell in the picture and Keith David, it had some momentum behind it.
Yeah. I think this was a
I-
relatively well-received movie. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I love a good like entourage and like isolation mix in movies, and that's exactly what this movie is. You get all the different personalities from each one before things get crazy. Well, can't even say that because this movie kind of starts out in the middle of the craziness. That's one like movie tactic that I always loved, was when the movie is either starting out in the middle of the story already, or it's like the tail end of somebody else's story, and then it's like being passed on. And that's exactly what this is. Like the dog going from the Norwegian base to the US base, like that's exactly how the movie starts. And I love that because, yeah, the first time I saw this movie, it's like, what the hell? Why are they shooting at this cute dog running through the Antarctica? Like, what's going on here? But yeah, just the progression of craziness that happens is insane. And yeah, I can't really say too many bad things about this movie. It really has
Yeah.
it all. Even comedy. Intentional or not, there's some funny moments in here, like with the
Yeah.
cinematography. Like when the camera like does a close-up on like Blair's face, Wilford Brimley, and then it just like freeze frames and then like fades out. It's like, what the hell was that? Like, why did they choose
Yeah.
to do that? And they do that like 3 times, and it's all on Blair's face. Like the craziest looking dude with his giant glasses. It just, it kills me.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah, this is one of the greatest horror movies ever made. This is probably in my top. This is definitely in my top 5. I don't know top 3, but it's definitely in my top 5. I think it's incredible. I think it's hilarious. I got the chance to go see this last year in 35 millimeter, which was pretty cool. And being in a theater of all people that weren't like, oh, we're just gonna go see a movie today. Like, what's on? It was like, oh, we're all here to see The Thing because we love The Thing. Was pretty cool. It's fucking hilarious. The scene where Wilford Brimley is talking to Mac, and he's like, I'm good, Mac. I promise. I feel much better now. Just let me come inside. It's so funny. Especially
The noose hanging next to him.
yeah, in the last few years, we had to
That's what does it.
put one of my grandparents in like a retirement home, and that's always hard because they don't want to. And like the first week after we came, we visit her. Now we watch that scene and we're like, oh man, that's like Grammy, because he's like, please, I'm good now. I'm okay. Just let me come back. Just let me come inside. And we're like, I'm okay now. It's so funny. I'm fine. I'm okay. I'll be good. I think he says I'll be good at least once, and it is just gold. But yeah, I mean, this movie is perfect. It's some of the greatest practical effects I've ever seen. Yeah, it's just excellent. I want to, because there's multiple scenes in this that use great practical effects in different ways. What is your guys' favorite use of practical effects in this one?
It's hard. I mean, all the stuff with the thing itself are obviously iconic as anything. The head on the crawling legs.
Yep.
Like, that stuff's amazing. Step away from the practical effects for 1 second before we come back to it, because I don't know how much longer we have with this. The idea of testing the blood with the hot needle, unbelievable. I don't know why, but that scene is so brilliant. Oh, man, it's great. Okay, continue. Practical effects.
Yeah. Jay, what about you? Do you have a favorite?
What's wild about this movie is like when you think of like iconic like horror movie like monsters, they all like are imprinted in our mind with how they look and everything. But The Thing takes on so many crazy forms. Like every time it's like in its monstrous alien form, it looks completely different than it did earlier in the movie.
Yeah.
And I love that they made that creative decision to constantly switch it up, because you're like, what the hell is this thing going to look like next? And it's always just so buck wild. Like they could have had one standard form for it, but they didn't do that. So all the practical effects in here are insane. Like how they're so layered. It's opening up and there's more limbs coming out and those limbs are opening up. It's wild. Just wild.
Yeah. For me, personally, it's the scene where they're doing, they're trying to bring him back to life. I don't know what you call it. The clear, I don't know what that machine's called. You guys know what I'm talking about. Yeah. But when they put it on his chest and his hands go through, and it bites his arms off. It's just, I love it because it's so weird. Have you guys seen Christmas Vacation? National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you know the scene where he goes to cut the turkey, and it's so dry it just goes, like when the chest caves in, I'm always like, dude, it's like Christmas Vacation. But that whole scene, and it comes out of his chest, and it's like, it's just so goofy. I love it so much. But I do want to go back to, Jagger, you mentioned the testing the blood scene.
Yes.
I think that might be an all-time scene for me. The amount of... and it's not even one that I can get the same effect if I just go and watch it on YouTube. It's all the build-up to it. There's all this mistrust and accusations being thrown around. And by the time you get to that scene, there is so much palpable tension in the movie between these guys that scene, it just works so perfectly. Because you're just on the edge of your seat like... It's just, God, that is such a... There's multiple scenes. The same thing goes for the final scene between Mac and Charles. That final dialogue between them in the outside in the cold is just, it's so good. It is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah, one funny thing that all the funny things in this movie have to relate to Blair. Like, he's just the comic relief in this movie. When they first dissect the dog thing, like the first time around, and he goes through it, I feel like he found out kind of quickly that it's a shape-shifting alien. And it's like the first of its kind. He's never seen anything like this. He's just like, oh, yep, it's a shape-shifting alien. See? And then it's like, how did this dude just figure this out, like, first go? But in a movie, there's a couple, like, logistical moments where it's like, well, that wouldn't make sense or that wouldn't happen. But in a movie with a shape-shifting alien, I think you have the right to throw some logic out the window and just take
For sure.
it as it is. So it doesn't affect the like viewing experience at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
this movie,
what
man.
else is there?
It's just so perfect. Have you guys seen the remake?
I haven't seen the remake, but I have played the
I-
PS2 video game
I-
adaptation.
There's a video game adaptation?
I didn't even know that was a thing. How was
man. Oh, it's horrible. It's absolutely terrible. But it's a novelty piece. Like that's all that game works
right.
for.
That's wild.
Bad.
Yeah, I mean, this movie is just
You, like-
it's perfect.
I don't know how you guys do. You guys use tags on Letterboxd? Like the
I don't
tag
use them
feature
very
in your
much.
reviews?
Like, I'll use them if I remember, but even like recently,
Sure.
I mean, I've talked to Jagger about this. Life has just been shitty, and so I can rarely muster the energy to write a review more than one sentence. And it's just like, it's whatever. But I know a lot of people
Yeah,
who
I
use
get
them
it.
because for people who like consistently write reviews for every movie.
I write reviews for every movie, but for some reason my mind will be like, oh, I should probably tag this Criterion because I have it on Criterion, and then I'll do it for like 2
Right.
movies, and then I'll just forget and never do it again.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's how tags work for me.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I've talked to that use it. Oh, I'm sorry. Lagging a bit. Yeah, one thing that I was going to say about the tags is a lot of people that I know that use them consistently either do like Criterion or like the decade that the movie came out or genres or something. I do not do that. I have the stupidest tags on Letterboxd, I think. I do like very like minute, like subtle things. But what I was going to say is this movie created the first tag that I used for give that dog an Oscar. And I've used that so many times. Like when the dog in the movie has a stellar performance. Dude, the dog in this movie is insane. Like one of the best performances. He almost outperforms Kurt Russell, for God's sakes. How he like walks through the hallway and like looks in one room and then he continues to walk. It's like, what? How do you even do that with a dog? But I don't know. It's so creepy how that the dog's name is Jed, by the way, the actor.
Oh my gosh, what a perfect name.
It just starts so strong with that dog. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I love that.
One of the
dog.
best dog performances. Yeah. We used it so many times now, but that was the first movie that I used that tag for.
Yeah. I gotta ask you before we wrap it up here, I gotta ask you guys, because the other day I was at school and I was telling people, I was like, yeah, I posted this on my Letterboxd, and it was like people within like film, they're also film majors, and they're like, oh, what's Letterboxd? How much joy do you guys get out of explaining what Letterboxd is to other people and showing them how that works? Because I pulled up the app and I showed them like, this is what this does and this and this. And dude, I can't tell you how much joy that brings. I'm just like, this is the coolest shit ever. Yeah, like, do you guys get the same feeling like showing people Letterboxd?
Seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just got dude,
100%.
because I love Letterboxd. I think it might be because I have an awful memory. Jagger knows this. It's a pretty big part of like me getting into film. Is I used to be a drug addict, alcoholic, got into rehab, and then I got into film. Kind of saved my life. But because of all the drugs I've done, my memory is shot. And I'm like, man, I want to be able to remember what I watched half the movies I watched if I did not have Letterboxd. That's one of the main reasons I have it, so I can remember what I've watched.
All in one place for you.
Exactly. And the watch list, dude. The watch list creation where you can shuffle it might be the greatest thing ever created. I constantly do that where I'm like, I don't know what to watch. Shuffle my watch list. First thing to come up, I watch. You know, gets me into trouble sometimes because there's some real shit out there. But, you know, still find some
Props
enjoyable
to you
stuff.
though for watching them.
Yeah. I've gone on some wild rides with the watch list.
I've got it.
Because if a movie from like a franchise or a series comes up, I'm just like, okay, these are going to be my next watches. I'm just going to binge out this franchise. Like the past couple days, I did all the Child's Play movies, which was a fucking blast. Those movies are excellent. But I did the Children of the Corn movies. I think it was last summer. Last September. Yikes, dude. Don't watch those. Like, it's not even like they're so bad it's good. They are unwatchable. They are just awful films. I have not had a word. Those final four Children of the Corn movies, I was just like, I might just never watch a movie again. What's the point of this? This is terrible.
Yeah, I only watched the first one, and that's like the one that, you know, sparked the franchise. So I was like, this one has to be good at least.
It's
I
not
watched
that
it, I was
great.
like,
The
this
second one is better.
isn't- I was like, wait, they made how many more after this?
There's
It was
like 9,
crazy.
I think.
Yeah,
And
insane.
the second one is better. It's like a 3.5 to a 4 for me. And
Okay.
then the third one isn't awful. And then it's just downhill from there. You know, there was a time where if you watch, it got onto my Letterboxd page. It was the last 4 Children of the Corn movies, all half stars. I was just, it was so hard. But now I don't ever have to watch them again. You know.
There you go. My watch list is never ending. I mean, I add 3 movies at least a day to it while I'm watching one movie, so it's just like never correcting itself. Yeah,
How many do you have on your watch list? I gotta ask.
Ooh, it's a good question.
Because I have a
Probably
lot.
not as much as some people. But
I've never met anyone with more than I do. Let's see, 5,300 right now.
What am
nope,
I?
you
at?
win. You win.
Jagger, I know you have a good amount.
I have a lot. And the thing is, like, I have so many movies on my watch list, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch this. And then someone on TikTok says, this movie's amazing, and then all plans go out the window.
Mm-hmm.
It's whatever someone recommended to me 5 minutes ago automatically supersedes what I'd been planning to watch for 2 weeks.
Fair.
And I can't do it. I just can't keep hold of the watch list.
Mm-hmm. For me,
Jagger did beat.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, for me, a big thing for like cracking down on my watch list is accessibility, for sure. Like, there's some movies on my watch list that are like so old and they're not streaming, they're not even available for like video on demand. It's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
I'll get back to that when I get back to that. I've also like done a deep dive into a movie that I haven't seen, like read up into it, and I'm like, damn, I gotta add this. I go to my Letterboxd and it's already on my watch list. It's like, when did I put this on? That's happened so many times.
Yeah. Jagger did beat, because I don't have much, like, my social life consists of my online friends and watching movies with them. That's my, I'm a pretty introverted dude. And at least with this, there's some kind of I can turn it on. Like, podcasting takes a lot out of me, but I can turn it on while I podcast and be like sociable and extroverted. But most of the time, I just like chilling at home watching movies. And I think it's in the do you listen to the Real Talk podcast at all? Like it's like Seth, Cam, Tyler, and George.
I think I've heard a couple episodes, but I haven't like listened consistently.
So they have a Discord, which is actually how me and Evan, our other host, met.
Okay.
And they do a monthly leaderboard to whoever has the most diary logs in a month.
So
Oh,
I
Um,
joined the Discord exclusively to be a part of this competition.
Yeah, because I am consistently I don't care anymore. Someone called me out like last July, and I'm a super competitive person, and I was like, "Oh, okay, let's do this." So that August, I logged 148 movies in the month of August, and then for the next 4 or 5 months, I consistently logged 10 or more movies above second place.
Oh.
It actually ended when they were like, Trey, you're not allowed to compete anymore. We're putting you in your own separate category. You're just nobody can beat you, and that's when I kind of backed off. Like I'll hit on an average month, I'll hit anywhere from 85 to 90 in a month because
Damn.
it's just like nothing brings me more joy than watching movies and talking about them. But Jagger joined, and it was what month was that? Was
July.
it 2 months? It was July. So it's 2 months ago. We made a bet, and he still needs to, he was like, how about this? If I beat your record, I get to create an episode, I create the entire episode for us to do. And I was like, I'm down with that. How many did you end up logging?
158 movies in 1 month.
Yeah, he beat me by 10.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
That's what I got.
All new movies, or were they rewatches in there too?
Some were rewatches, but most were new, and they were all
Okay.
features.
Amazing.
Well,
That's
you had a good
crazy.
amount of shorts in there, Jagger.
I would say good amount. I had like 10-ish.
Okay.
Because that's the thing with the competition is it doesn't matter. It's all about diary logs.
Right.
So like
But I
it doesn't
had
matter
all
the
shorts.
length of
I
the
think
movie.
Our cap was 15, and I didn't even hit the cap on shorts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it was
But yeah. Jay, we thank you for joining us today. That was an absolute blast. Again, follow Jay on TikTok, Cinema Coconut, and J_koala, just the letter J on Letterboxd.
Got it.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, Jay.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And we're back.
Yeah, we're back.
Thank you guys for listening to that. We had a great. Make sure you follow Jay, TikTok, Letterboxd. Jagger, do you need to go check on that?
No, it's like
I can talk about.
right out my eye line is a baby holding a tennis racket. So
There you go. All right.
block that out a little bit and focus on
So first of all, let's talk about. I'll bust out The Great Escape. If you've been a Great Escape, came out in the 70s, I believe, 1963. What year did Bridge Over the River Kwai come out?
like 54.
1957. So if you've been a listener of our podcast, a while back we reviewed a war film called The Bridge Over River Kwai. Great Escape is essentially that. It's different characters. Yeah, I'll just talk about this. You're good.
Thank you.
Different characters, different settings, but same deal. POWs in a camp trying to escape. You know, the sets on this movie are really good. Steve McQueen is great in this. I think it was. Is it Richard? No, it can't be. Richard Attenborough is in this. He's great. James Garner is great. Just a good adventure film. This is also coming out at like the height of adventure films, movies like this. So it's definitely an interesting one. But if I'm being honest, your time would be better spent just going and watching Bridge Over the River Kwai. That's an incredible film that both me and Jagger love. And your time would be more well spent just going and watching that. But that's just my opinion. That is, yeah, that's The Great Escape. Not too much to say about it. But, Yeah. So yeah, that's the Great Escape for you guys. Next up, we Kill Bill. Jagger, why don't you open it with this one?
I have this movie at 3 stars. I think that Quentin Tarantino is a very self-important human being. Quentin Tarantino has gotten a lot of affirmations in his day, and it has led him to be an incredibly, incredibly pompous figure in the film world. And the more that people feed into his pompous vision, the more that this whole entire cinematic presence that he's created becomes something of a trophy to him. To this man who has openly endorsed Israel recently after their genocide on Palestine, who has said a bunch of incredibly questionable things in his day. Read up on him. He's not Woody Allen. He's not doing anything like Roman Polanski level bad, but still, what he's doing does not have him deserve anything more than someone that is a good-spirited person. On that note, I think Pulp Fiction is incredible. However, I think that is the only really great film in his whole filmography. Like, here's the thing. Reservoir Dogs is fine. Haven't seen Jackie Brown. I think Kill Bill is an entirely okay movie. Death Proof is fine. Django Unchained, I used to really love, but the more I think about it, the more I'm just like, oh, it's Quentin Tarantino writing himself into a movie to say the N-word. It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't love. I think it's okay. I think the idea of them twisting facts with fiction to make it Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's an interesting gimmick, but it's not a great movie. To all of those points, even though he's pompous, he's a jerk, he's a bad person in a lot of regards. Not a bad person as bad as other people, just a really questionable individual in a lot of regards that gets way more praise than he ever deserved. I think that Kill Bill is an okay action movie. Yeah, it has references to 70s movies. So do a million other movies. So does Longlegs. But, yeah, Longlegs, I don't like Osgood Perkins much either. But there are other movies that make reference to the 70s that are much better than this one is. There are other action movies that make reference to 70s. There are others make reference to 70s. God, I sound illiterate. Make reference to the 70s. There are other movies that sort of go with the Grindhouse vibe. This is just an okay movie made by a questionable guy that for some reason everyone dies over because he knows how to give a visual style. So do so many other filmmakers that deserve your attention far more than Quentin Tarantino, who's frankly just a dirtbag.
Okay, so I'm not disagreeing with the fact that he's a dirtbag. Not a great dude. Pompous asshole.
Yeah.
But what I will disagree with is... I mean, Quentin Tarantino is my all-time favorite director. I'll just come out and say it. I have not given... the one with Kurt Russell. God damn it. What?
Death Proof.
Death Proof. I have it a 4.5. I think it's great.
I don't even think it's his worst film.
And this is definitely one of my favorites. I have this at a 5. And that is because I love Quentin Tarantino so much. I just think his style of filmmaking, it just really works for me. And, there's just so much about this movie that works for me. The action, I think, is quite excellent. I think that storyline works really well. I think Uma Thurman gives an incredible performance. The whole anime sequence with Lucy Liu's backstory and everything, I think is awesome. This movie is just cool, you know, and there's not too much else I can say, you know, because it's cool. It's very, and it's like the same thing with Wes Anderson. Like, if you don't like the style, you're not going to like most of his movies. You know? If you don't like Wes Anderson's style, don't watch any Wes Anderson movies because you're not going to like them. If you don't like Quentin Tarantino's style, don't watch his, because most of his movies you're not going to like. Because again, he is one of those directors. It's like Christopher Nolan. He's very self-indulgent. He does what he loves to do. And some people like that, and some people really don't. And, you know, I'm one of the people who loves it.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So those are our reviews for the day. We hope to see you back next week. Yeah, thanks for joining us on the Average Film Enjoyer today, and we hope you have a good rest of your day.